You may think that I am a very productive person, just like my delusional family does. But in fact, I'm not. Most of my sleepless nights are spent wishing I was doing more and then not doing more. I am an expert at procrastination to the point where it seems like I am doing something. In an ideal life, I would be farther on my way to greatness, not just a baby. In this perfect world, my book would have been finished 2 years ago when I started writing it. I'd be able to post a video every week, and the countless scripts I've written would be realized. This is one of those scripts, and if it does manage to make its way somewhere, I'll dig up another one. I hope you liked that intro. However, unlike what it implies, this script was never finished, which just reinforces those statements. So some of this video will be scripted and some parts won't be. The date is the 8th of January 2023, and I'm not really feeling it today, which is why I felt like it was a good opportunity to film, because my life is not always productive, and I'm not always in the groove of things. So the voiceover that you will be hearing is a script that I've written a while ago. I've just written so many scripts, and I think in the new year it's time to finally let those words out into the world and be realized. At the time of writing this script, I was so conflicted over whether I should be living my life as a child, playing and not worrying about real-world responsibilities, and balancing that with my need to be great as a young age and wanting to work harder, because that's what I find fun. But that fun was also stressing me out, so I've now found a balance where there are big projects and little projects, and on days where I really don't want to do something, I'll still do stuff, but they'll just be little things, or I'll half do them. Because I've realized recently that because of my financial position and my youth, my being in high school and everything, I am able to do that and should take advantage of it while I can. The only part of this script after the intro says, I try to be productive, mainly at school. I sometimes enjoy the monotonous days because they are a schedule. They keep me in line. However, I can't seem to implement a good schedule like this into my everyday life. School is grueling, but the environment and the boredom that it brings makes me get stuff done. It's why my grades are good, and I actually find myself enjoying busy work. But then I get home and I can't even do my homework. This is why I curse all the teachers who assign electronic homework due at 11:59 that night in last period. At home, it's so relaxed that I end up doom scrolling and spiraling and questioning life, and then I hate myself. Even though I realize that I have been doing work at school all day, and that coming home is the time for me to wind down, or at least should be. The problem, because school takes up so much of my time and my energy, I can't get my personal goals done. I can't get videos out, even though that's what really brings me joy, not learning that the mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell, or about triangle similarity, because yes, I am still in geometry. But on weekends, I am still not productive. In the past year, I have started to realize that no one is productive all of the time, and this idea that we should be is very American of me. I have started to not take issue with myself taking breaks and resting, but I have also been doing more work and filling up my schedule. I can't seem to get away from this hustle culture mentality. I want to ask you a question that I have been contemplating. What is being productive? Personally, I know my answer, but I still can't take my answer and do something with it. My answer is that there are 2 categories. I can get work done in a way that makes me feel like I'm benefiting my future career. This productivity is what most people think of when they think of productivity. Work and no play. Hustle, hustle, hustle. Then there is productive in the sense that I'm taking care of myself and my friendships. The problem is that I can't seem to think of these activities as anything other than a waste of time, unless they are something to check off of my to-do list. Recently, I have tried combating this by doing just that, putting them on my to-do list. Or, when I look back on my day and what I did, I add it to that list of things that I did that were productive, alongside the things in the other category. Listening to that back, this way of thinking comes off to me as very privileged. There are people who have to work hard to support their family, but I really want to talk about how this hustle culture is affecting me, a teenager. Someone who can't even drive to get to a job or anything. Ignore the kettle sounds in the background. I am making another cup of tea, but I just realized that I should probably be coming in with clips of me talking in the middle of this video, because that's what I did in my New Year's video. It worked wonders. So I finished all of my morning things, things I enjoy doing in the morning, except for write 30 minutes. I do not want to do this. Maybe I can do 10 minutes, 10 minutes, 10 minutes. I think that might work, because yesterday I did 15. I was tap, 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 one finger at a time for 5 minutes waiting for it to be over. Look, I love high school. It's amazing. I love my high school in particular. However, I do have a problem with it. And that is that high school, at least the one I'm going to, prepares me for college. I'm a freshman, and the only thing I can think about is that colleges are going to be looking at my grades now and deciding if I can have the future I want. That's kind of messed up. And they're also being like, hey, what career do you want? You should probably start thinking about that. And I don't know. I did not get a normal middle school experience, as all 3 years were cut short, and I definitely had a learning curve in middle school over keeping my grades up, but now I'm having a learning curve over keeping my grades up again. It's a second learning curve, and a learning curve over being independent. Because I'm expected to know what to do the second I step foot in that school, or I was. For a small-scale example, everyone expects me to know where certain rooms are and who the counselors are, and I just got here. I don't even know the name of the principal. I get it. Money makes the world go round, and we need everyone in the workforce. But no, I don't want to do that. I just kind of want to have a childhood, and I feel like I can't because I am always worried about being productive. I had to change in a hurry to something I was wearing on Friday because I'm going out with a friend and I don't have any other coat except for that one. I feel like this video is kind of all over the place, but the next topic I want to discuss is the individuality when it comes to being productive and working, because everyone has different styles. Personally, I am a morning person and a night person. I do not do afternoons. Afternoons are my free time. I am also the kind of person who gets into something, and if you get me out of that, I am not doing that task for the rest of the day. It's a tomorrow thing. I also know myself, and I know that I'm not going to do stuff later, so I have to do it now. And I know people who are at school who just play games while they're at school and they just do everything after, and I'm not that kind of person. I do things when they're assigned. And sometimes I have a lot of disdain towards people who just don't work the same way I do. And that's a problem. In quotations, my way of working is traditional, which is because of the time in which I do it. But there are also people who will work ahead or procrastinate and do it last minute. And this disdain that I have and this judgment that I have for other people is more like a, why aren't you doing as much as me? Am I doing this for no reason? I am just so tired after walking around so much with my friend. I want to eat something to pass the time, but I'm not really hungry and I want room for dinner or whatever it may be. I really need to work on this info, but I also know that there'll be time tomorrow. But I also said that yesterday. I wrote down some notes for things that I want in it, and I think that's enough. I really hope it's enough. The biggest factor of people thinking that they need to be working all the time is the biggest influencer of them all, the media as a whole. Sometimes I see people being productive all the time, and I feel bad that that's not me. And other times I see people not being productive, and then they come out with something that is just amazing, and I'm like, where do you find the time to do both? Time management is something that I will probably always struggle with in some way, shape, or form, but I am better at it than a lot of people, and I'm very grateful for that. I guess the whole point of this video is to tell you that hustle culture is pretty toxic, but there's a way to balance out not being productive and taking a break. That is not just neglecting your work. When I first wrote this script, it was like, oh my gosh, I'm not working constantly. This is so terrible, I hate myself. But now, after a year, I've realized that it's okay to take breaks, especially if you're young like me, and that it's actually beneficial. All right, that is it for today's video. I don't know what script I'm going to use. There's so many, and many of them probably won't even be posted, even though I'm clearing them out. Ignore the dog snoring in the background. She always snores in the background of my voiceovers and videos. It's the charm of it. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm going to read I'm Glad My Mom Died by Jeanette McCurdy. I'll see you all next time. Atlas out.